Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Payson. Welcome back if you're already a subscriber to the show. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe so you can see more great interviews, including the one coming at you right now. First time guest of the show, a professional welterweight, 170-pound pro fighter, Christian Hungry Wolf Alcala. Christian, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Luke. Thank you for having me.
Always great to have a new guest of the show. Pumped that you're a pro and you're going to be fighting on the June 29th card for 247 Fighting Championship Brawl in the Burgh 22. Going to be coming live. For people that want to get tickets, go to 247fighting.com, select Christian's name so he gets credit. It's going to be at the Monroeville Convention Center. If you can't be there in person, download now the 247 Live app to any smart TV or tablet device, and then you can order the pay-per-view through that. Welcome to the show, Christian. Before we get to your upcoming fight in a little over a month, let's talk about what came before MMA. So what did you do sports-wise growing up, middle school, high school, college, whatever it was? What was your sports background, athletic background prior to MMA?
Well, growing up, I was in middle school. I started karate at 12 years old, so I got into that. But actually, I really got into MMA in high school. I was a huge MMA fanboy before MMA was really popular. I mean, I used to watch, stay up late and watch like Pride back in the days. Like I remember watching the legends like Wanderlei Silva, Mirko Cro Cop, Fedor Emelianenko. So, I've always been a huge MMA fanboy.
All right. And then when did you transition from fan club, fanboy into training it yourself?
Well, karate got very stale. It got very, point-esque, like, here the judges decide who the winner is stuff. And like I really wanted to compete myself. I wanted to push myself to the very limit. And MMA seemed like that. It seemed like the closest way to real combat without a fight to the death, if that makes sense. I don't exactly want to kill the person, but I want to challenge myself to like my utmost physical maximum. So I want to say I made the switch around 15, 16 years old. That's when I finally convinced my mom, hey, I really want to get into this sport. And she took it more as something serious and not so much as human cockfighting.
Gotcha. Sure. Well, the viewpoint of MMA as a sport, and of course, I'm glad you look at it as a sport, and of course, I look at it as a sport. It is fighting. It is unarmed martial arts combat, but it's not street fighting. It's not to the death. Sometimes when new people come to an MMA show, they pretty much always are shocked that there's a referee in there, and I'm like, well, yeah, there's a referee. This isn't the
Oh, the
Coliseum.
Just Bleed fans, I absolutely love them.
Yep. So exactly. So very exciting. Now, where have you been training? What has your gym been like? Have you switched gyms? What gym are you in now? And kind of what has it been like for your training in MMA?
So I travel all around, but my primary training location is Law MMA. It's at Sarah Longo's, Long Island. I
Okay.
will always love Sensei Matt and Coach Ray. They're my family and all the people there. I do travel quite a bit for training as well. Currently, I'm doing some training in North Carolina. I train at Jimmo's, and I also go visit Wonder Boy as well.
Oh, well, the Wonder Boy gym makes sense given your karate background. Um, that definitely makes sense. I always think that you're talking about Stephen Wonderboy
Yeah,
Thompson.
Stephen
Okay.
Wonderboy Thompson. Yeah, I actually met him through my teammate Chris, and I love them both. They're great people,
Oh yeah.
especially Wonderboy. I know what's it called? They have the BMF title, which is baddest motherfucker. But if they ever put an NMF title, that man is the undisputed champion. He will be
I
undefeated
know.
for
I was
years
gonna
to
say
come.
there's YouTube videos out there just about people talking about him being the nicest, as opposed to the baddest. What's it like? Do you spar with him, given the fact that you're both 170? I know he's a tall, long guy with a ton of karate. Like, kind of who are your training partners down there when you're at Wonder Boy's gym?
Um, I mostly get some, well, let's see. When I'm at Wonder Boys, it's mostly skill training. I don't really go there for
Okay.
sparring per se, but when I do spar with Wonder Boy, I do learn a lot. I apologize, a little tongue twisted. I do learn a lot. I get my ass kicked a lot. And it's a very humbling experience and it's a learning experience.
Well, it's all about learning. I like the fact that you travel between a bunch of different gyms. You're like the nomad. MMA fighter that picks up a lot of different skills from a lot of different places. Let's start talking about your fight that's a little over a month away, June 29th for Brawl in the Burgh 22 for 247 Fighting Championships. So what are your thoughts on your opponent, Musa? What are your thoughts on him? Are you just excited to have the fight, or do you know kind of his background? Have you watched fights of him, or is it just about getting an opportunity to fight again for your fourth pro fight? Fifth
It's
pro fight.
definitely both. So I do I'm really starting to enjoy the fact of like traveling to different promotions and fighting. Like I'm really starting to get a real I guess fun for it, if that makes sense. And as far as Musa, I'm actually very excited to fight him. He has a collegiate background in boxing. I know he was a collegiate champion, so that's going to be a lot of fun to throw hands with him. And he trains with a lot of good guys. I mean, he trains with Bo Nickel and Mike Brown at AT&T, so I'm very excited for that. But he's not the only one that's got his secret hitters, let's say that.
Well, that does make a lot of sense. It's always about challenging yourself. There is not an MMA fighter, particularly at the pro level. Some amateurs are still trying to figure out whether or not they want to be in it, but the pro level, there's really not people out there that don't want to challenge themselves. So, give you all the credit. I do know that we had the first ATT, fortunately not Bo Nickel, but the first ATT Happy Valley guy we had was a Division II national wrestling champ just at the last card, Noah Hermosillo. And so I did know that ATT Happy Valley wanted to be on more. And so that makes sense that your opponent is part of that Happy Valley crew. So very exciting. I think it's a great matchup. What are
It's gonna be a very
what are
fun
your
fight.
thoughts?
All right.
Do you like to do a prediction? What would you like to do? If you don't say a prediction, just what are your thoughts on the fight?
It's going to be a very violent and bloody fight, Luke. And I'm going
Violent
to
and bloody.
enjoy the
I'm gonna
ever-loving fuck out of it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'll hold you to that. Violent and bloody. Okay. Hopefully that's not, well, you could be like the Diaz brothers, right? When even they were winning, they were still all bloody because of their scar tissue. So
I put on
violent and
exciting
bloody.
fights. Yeah, let's say that.
Perfect. Well, that's about the great, that's about the best type of prediction possible. You're currently living in Carolina. Kind of where are you home based out of? I know Pittsburgh,
Oh no,
you're coming to,
I apologize for interrupting. I live in New York. I just do a lot of traveling, so
you're a New York guy. Gotcha. Well, it'll be great welcoming you to the Pittsburgh area. 247 is a fantastic regional promotion, and you're going to be part of their first time really doing a predominantly pro card. They always have had pro fights on their cards, but usually a fair number of amateur fights. And this card is going to be, you're already one of 7 pro fights. They've
awesome.
announced that there's 3 more pro fights, so 10 pro fights have been signed. Obviously, sometimes things fall through, injuries and stuff, but still, it's a lot of pro fights. There's pay-per-views that the UFC does with fewer pro fights than that, like 5 or 6 usually for them. So it's an absolutely incredible card. There's still going to be some amateurs on this card, but it is predominantly a pro card. I can't wait to meet you in person. It's always better, and also for you to get the experience for 247. I know your journey, you get around, and I hope to have you on afterwards to kind of talk about your experience with not only the fight but also 247, because everybody at 247, Jim Mooney, the legendary matchmaker, Hunter Homestead, the GM, and the owner, the main guy, the owner, Ryan Milton, all want to not only put on a great promotion and show for the fans, but also want fighters to feel like they're a great promotion. So I can't wait to get your feedback on that. Best skills to you. Thanks so much for coming on. Oh, of course, I'm going to save the most important question to last. How did you get the nickname Hungry Wolf?
The Hungry Wolf, it was, well,
The Hungry Wolf.
it was a nickname given to me in the gym. I was going through some very bad nicknames. Let's put it like that. I was called the Care Bear at one point, and then someone called me the Hungry Wolf, and it just absolutely clicked. Let's
And
put
you're
it
like,
like
well, that's better than Care Bear, so let's go Hungry Wolf. Okay.
that.
Well, you know what? There's a great kind of life lesson legend about wolves, and I thought that's maybe where it got from, but it's a great kind of mindset, and it's this idea that this old grandfather is talking to his grandson, saying that There's two wolves inside of him, a good wolf and a bad wolf. The bad wolf wants to kind of tear him up and ruin his life, and the good wolf wants his life to be successful and profitable and have morals and values, real kind of the spiritual side of life.
Yeah,
And
yes.
and the
Yeah,
little
I remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you want to finish it for me, sir?
No, 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 no. You can finish it, Luke.
Okay, I mean, if you know it, but it's really a good mindset to have. And the story is that the little kid asks his grandfather, "Well, grandfather, like what wolf is going to win because they're fighting?" He said that they're fighting, and he says, "Whichever wolf you feed." And it's the mindset not only as a fighter, the hungry wolf, but also the mindset as a person to constantly be feeding the success, be feeding the good wolf, be feeding the morals and the values and the goals that you have. It's a really awesome it's a really awesome kind of mindset to have, that it's really every day, day to day, what we do in our life really matters. So I appreciate you coming on the show. I guess we'll end on that fun
Thank you, Luke.
fun
Can I just say
little
one more thing? I'm sorry.
jump
That's
in.
actually my second favorite wolf story. My first one is actually Norse mythology, and it's
Okay, go on.
how Fenrir devoured Odin, and it was the whole start of Ragnarok. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm all about, feeding the whole good wolf and stuff. I don't mean to edit on
You
such
like, no,
a
no, I get it,
chaotic
I get
note,
it. Is
but
that
yeah.
why there was a big, because I've seen Thor Ragnarok the movie, and I think there is a wolf that comes out, right? Is that
No, in Norse mythology itself, Fenrir, who's the son of Loki, right, ends up devouring Odin, who's the king of gods. Like, yeah,
gotcha?
Norse mythology is very fascinating.
Yeah, it is, but I only know what's from Marvel, and
But
clearly
Marvel, gotcha.
they didn't go down that, they didn't go close, but not
Yeah.
all the way. Well, very cool. I appreciate you coming on the show. This has been Luke Basin with MMA Fancast with first time guest of the show. Get tickets now for 247 Fighting Championship Brawl in the Burgh 22 for June 29th. Can't wait for you to get out there and see Christian, the Hungry Wolf Alcala. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Christian.
Thank you so much, Luke, for having me. Appreciate it.
Been a blast. You take care. Best skills to you.